Um, okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Ivy Wolk, and I'm very excited to welcome you to ImageUnion Live, a weekly series featuring conversations with filmmakers, artists, and activists from all around the globe. I'm an actress, a film enthusiast, and I love ImageUnion and I love what they do. So today I'm happy to introduce you all to Eva Münnich.
Hi everyone. Yeah, I'm Eva. I'm a director and animator, and I do cute characters. And yeah, that's basically it.
So let's start by discussing your history as an animator.
Mhm.
Where and when did you first start drawing and getting into animation, and what pieces of media really piqued your interest in animation?
Well, I guess it's, like this classic cliche of having drawn a lot as a kid and then not doing anything during puberty and then going to art school and picking it all up again. And yeah, I think that's how it went for me. I did not study animation in art school though. I studied film, so I was in the film class. And yeah, I think as when it comes to influences, it's gonna be like I grew up during the 80s and 90s, so it's gonna be this like weird 70s sort of cartoons you got to see in TV as a kid during that time, which was good. Yeah, really strange stuff, I'd say.
Did you find
Yeah.
that? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, 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 just
Find
ask
that
ask ahead.
there was something you learned about animation, maybe, I mean, not specifically since you weren't studying it, but do you think that your education in just overall film was valuable, or you had lessons to take away that you could apply specifically to animation?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the principles of filmmaking, they still apply, like, story structure and how you kind of think about perspectives and cameras and how to, tell your story. That's pretty much the same. I mean, it's just basically the decision was I do never want to be on a set again, like ever. So I had to pick something that's not gonna put me on a set.
You didn't like it?
Uh, no, worse.
What was your
Uh,
focus in school? Were you directing? What were you doing?
the way it was set up is that you got to do a little bit of every position so that you could find out, what position you would like the best. And yeah, I like directing and actually set making and prop building. I like that a lot. And yeah, post-production, I mean, working on like analog effects and like blowing up little models and stuff like that. I love that. But yeah, just being on set is just not for me. It's just too much either waiting or stress. So
Do you find
and
when you're animating something, is it just you, or do you have a team? Because it seems like you don't really like a hectic environment when you're animating. Is it just you alone?
I mean, it just depends. I mean, in the end, it's just me alone, like at the moment, anyways, because everybody's working from home. So I mean, obviously, it's just me and my computer doing my stuff. But sometimes other people are involved that take over a different part, and working in teams is nice because you actually get to talk to people and yeah, work on the project together. That's cool. Or like, let's say a compositing person is involved, or yeah. But I mean, when it really comes to when you narrow it down, it would just be me.
So you went to film school, but when did you decide that animation was the career that you wanted to do? When it, like, specifically
Yeah,
animation?
it's a bit of a sad story though, but so I graduated art school with a degree in
Hmm.
filmmaking. And yeah, like I said before, I really liked building sets and props and do a bit of mask building and stuff like that. But there wasn't really any sort of career or money to in that. It would have, taken so much longer to push into this field than I was ready to to invest. And so, since I knew a bit of After Effects back then, it was fairly easy to get jobs in that field. You could just get corporate jobs like super easily. And yeah, this is when it dawned on me that animation could be a good path. Since yeah, no set, no people, and Yeah,
I think that's
potentially nice
perfect.
project.
I don't think that's
Yeah.
sad. You said it was sad. I don't think that's sad. I think you found your niche. I think that's a net positive.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's true. Okay. I take it.
so you're German. Is
Yeah.
there a good animation scene in Germany? Like what is life as an artist like in Germany?
It just depends a bit on what you want. So if you're going for, let's say, like, yeah, like a corporate career or like super slick and clean motion graphic stuff, there's tons and tons of jobs. I mean,
Mhm.
that's just easy. But if you want to do something that's a bit more individual or a bit more quirky, or on the fun side, that's more difficult because I have the impression that in Germany, the view on animation is still quite old school or
Mhm.
quite traditional, as you know, the fun stuff is for the kids, and the grown-ups get these like super slick motion graphy stuff. And yeah, I think that at least was the case when I left. So yeah, it was a bit weird.
And you live in London now.
Yeah.
What inspired your move to London? What brought you to London? Was it artistic? Was it personal? Like what opportunities have you found in London for animators
Mhm.
that you maybe didn't
So
have in Germany?
yeah, so it was a bit of it just came in the right moment because my partner and I, we both went to art school and then, had this career in animation where we weren't quite happy with because it
Mhm.
didn't like kind of sort of push us or anything. So we were quite frustrated. And then he got the offer to work in London. He's a VFX animator, so he got offered a job here, and we were like, yeah, of course we go. I mean, there's no question. Of course we go. And this is how we came to London in 2017. And yeah, I mean, it's been great. It's just the animation scene here is like so much more lively and involved because you have these meetups, like, like animators meetups where you can just go and then just chat to anyone, and everyone's like super open and nice and lovely. And then they're like, oh yeah, that's my Instagram, and you check it out and you're like, oh my God, that's so good. It's like, just being in this like sort of atmosphere, it pushed me so much. It was like, I kind of want to be, I kind of want to be that too. I want to be one of those animators in London that do cool stuff. And yeah, that this gave me a huge push. It was really
That's
good.
great. That's awesome. Okay, so we are going to watch and discuss your film Check 'em Out.
Mhm.
Would you like to introduce your creation?
I mean, it's not very long, and I think people will get it when they see it.
Okay. So maybe it's better left unsaid. Just leave it to interpretation for us.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, here's Check 'em Out. Yeah. How I want to know how long did that take to make?
Um, I couldn't really say because we made it across like a year, but not consecutively. So,
Okay.
maybe it would have been like 4 weeks if it was really, concentrated.
How did it end up taking a year?
It's because it was like a personal project, and like I mentioned, my partner, he works full time as a VFX animator, and he also animated this, so it was the main workload was on him. So, yeah, he just did it on weekends and whenever we had time. and it had a deadline though, because we wanted to send it to Pictoplasma, the festival in Berlin for character design and
Did
yeah,
it get in?
all stuff character. Sorry?
Did it get into the festival?
Yeah, I did, and
Yay!
it was great because then you
Good.
get invited to go, but it was 2020, so the first year of the
Oh.
pandemic, so
Did it get rescheduled?
no, the festival took place but online, and so yeah, I mean the main why we wanted to get invited was obviously to go there and then to meet everyone, because
Yeah.
that's the whole, like, almost the whole point of it. And so
Yeah.
yeah, it was a bit sad, but I mean, yeah, still it's good to, good to have a film there, but yeah, felt a bit it was a bit sad.
What was the inspiration behind this? Because it's like what you would, I mean, it seems it's like a shoe commercial, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about shoe commercials like piqued your interest? Like what, you know, where did the idea for this come from?
Actually, I did do Pictoplasma Academy, which is a 10 days program they have to develop characters and to develop ideas.
Mhm.
And this is where I can show you my, probably you can see it, but I'm gonna try my sketchbook. This is where this lady, flower lady character comes from. So this is like the first sketch of her. If you stuff falling off my book. Wait, where is she? I think there on this side. Can you see her?
I see her.
Well, anyway, this is where she comes from. This sort of, I mean, she is a flower. This is why her head has these petals, and she doesn't have arms because obviously it's just her stem, it's her body, and then
But
she
she
has
has
feet on it.
legs. She has legs.
She has legs. Yeah, she has legs, and so this is where she comes from. And then so I had this character, and she kind of developed over, from this academy time, over like this time of a year that I mentioned before, into figurines like this one.
Oh my gosh. What
And
is that made
then
of?
that's Scalpy, super Scalpy. It's like a very fine sort of clay.
Did you sculpt that yourself?
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh, that's so good.
yeah. And then I had these figurines, and we were like, okay, so what is she doing actually? Because she's just plumb and chilling. So what could be her like story, or what fun thing could she do? And then for some reason it was very obvious that she likes sneakers, and that she had to do some sort of dance, and it kind of came together from there. And yeah, so I cut together, like, just scouting in the internet, like loads of music videos and old shoe commercials, and what kind of moves did they use, and what was the like vibe of those 80s shoe commercials. And some voguing is in there too, so lots of different things. And yeah, and
When
then
you're oh sorry, I'm so
I don't know, I
sorry.
just wanted to say that then Robin, who is the animator, he then put it together very professionally.
It looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cute. But when you're like making something like this, where do you so I you said you started with those sculptures, but after
Mhm,
the sculptures, how do you start the actual process of like manifesting it
mhm.
into what we see now?
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, it was cutting together like a sizzle reel. It's what we called it. It's like where you cut together references for the animation, and you just, we had the track, and then we were like just cutting. Okay, what could fit where, so that then Robin had like a guideline of the moves he, then animated. And yeah, so he sort of translated this into the 3D model, which is kind of genius, and then animated it. And after that, we found someone to do a bit of sound design, and I did like, a bit of comp, and yeah, tying it all together. And that's it.
What inspired that color palette?
That's just a palette I've been using for quite a bit now. It's just pink and purple, and yellow goes with that. So
It's very whimsical.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, you can see behind me, I mean, lots of stuff I have is pink and purple and yellow. So I think it just works really well.
We're
And
sort
it
of matching
also,
today.
yeah, pink. It also
Um,
works really well with these kind of characters, with
it
these
does,
like
yeah.
balloony, squishy characters. Yeah.
So a lot of your work that I've seen online as well as in this film has like a focus on like bodies and like women's bodies. What uh, what interests you? I'm gonna rephrase this. So it's got a lot of interest in bodies, right? So tell us about this interest and the bodies and check them out and how you think animation sort of can be a vessel for body representation that uh maybe live action can't do. I hope that's, I mean, I feel like I'm speaking in gibberish, but I hope that made sense.
I mean, yeah, I think first of all, in animation, you have much more possibility to exaggerate whatever focus you want to, whatever you want to have in focus or whatever interests you. But I think for me, I mean, obviously, it's a very, very juicy feminine body they have, and it comes more from like stuff that I find appealing, which is like, let's say like it could be very, very fat animals, for example. They're just the best. I mean, just like fields or let's say like slugs. They have these weird sort of appeal to me. Or caterpillars with their, tiny legs and their like humongous bodies, or other stuff like let's say a sofa that is really, like a really, really
Like a
stuffed
beanbag?
sofa. Yeah, I don't know, these sofas that have these sort of buttons, and then it folds
Oh
in.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just,
yeah.
I don't know, something about it. I just really like it. And I think all this together then transforms into these really squishy, exaggerated bodies. I mean, they're not necessarily always feminine. I mean, there's also ones that are just blobs. But it lends itself to her because yeah, she's the flower lady, so she kind of has to have feminine features. It made sense to me.
I think that's so cool that you can like find inspiration from by looking at a sofa. I just don't think like that. I don't have like a visual or artistic mind like whatsoever. So that might be
It
why I'm
makes me
like
sound
flubbing these questions. I'm so sorry. I'm really trying here.
no,
Um
it makes me sound like a weirdo that I go somewhere and it's like, oh, this sofa is really cool.
I think that's beautiful. I think that's so cool. I think that's like a superpower of yours that you can find inspiration in like simple things. I
Yeah,
think that's
maybe.
really great.
Okay.
Okay, now we're going to talk about your film 7B. Would you
Mhm.
like to say a few words before we watch?
Yeah, this was a project I did in a residency that she drew that. So I'm going to say this again. She drew that, and Strange Bees did. She drew that as a group of London female animators, and so they organize, meetups, and they just want to connect more female animators to studios and overall to each other. And they had this residency program in which me and two other female directors, developed these stories and animated the film. Like the whole project took 4 weeks, I think. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, let's watch. Yay! I love that. Okay, so what were some of your biggest takeaways from the She Drew That residency?
I mean, it was the focus of it was to take you know, women that are interested in being directors through basically a whole process of producing a clip like that. So we had the producers of Strange Beasts on board, and also other female directors who are more experienced already to give us input and talks, and like a bit of behind the scenes of how the process is of such a project, which was really great just to be yeah, just to be in this process. Was good, really cool.
Do you think that women are well represented in the field of animation? And do you think your opinions of that changed from before or after the residency?
That's something we actually, or which is discussed a lot in, these meetups with She Drew That, for example, is that, I mean, you have tons of, women that go to art school and they study animation, and then they break into the industry and they are animators and they get to a certain level. But when it comes to like the higher level jobs, like the director or art director or lead or, senior positions, there suddenly it gets very thin and there's not many women in these higher positions. And that's something, we discuss a lot, and where we find to try to find ways to change that. And I mean, it's an ongoing process, so I don't think a lot has changed in the last 2 years probably, but but we're doing our best.
So, how do the images in 7B embody or represent your experiences as an artist or just as a person? Like, how is this film personal to you?
It is a lot, but so the topic they gave us to work with was distance, which I found really interesting. And what I kind of wanted to show is the distance you have when you start out to this sort of weird dream of a career that you have as a, as a creative, how this could be, or, and then you start out and you get really frustrated, and but then suddenly someone just swoops you along, like, like She Drew That, like just a group of people that just try to push you and just try to put you on the right path. And then suddenly stuff happens, and in the end you're, I don't know, what you thought you would be or something. So,
Do you
yeah,
find,
and
oh, sorry.
yeah. No,
Um,
just ask away.
do you find that the community that you found living in London and also through these residencies has led you to be maybe more productive or more inspired as an artist than when you were like living in Germany?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Because I felt very sort of isolated back in Germany, but which was also probably due to, me still living in the same city I studied and having the same friends, and it kind of felt like kind of a bit stuck in a way,
Mm-hmm.
which is nobody's fault. But if there's just no new influences and no new input coming in, I mean, it's really hard to, just do everything out of yourself in a way.
Yeah,
And so, I think coming here helped a lot, definitely.
that's awesome. Okay. Thank you so much, Eva, for being here and for letting me interview you. I hope I wasn't too bad. Thank you for sharing your beautiful art with us. And thank you to ImageUnion Live for letting me host this.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of
So cool.
course. I think that's it.
Yeah.